All right, welcome back to another YouTube video. So basically in this video, I'll be talking about the Legacy ProEdge, which is my latest flagship indicator, basically only available on TradingView. And I will also be giving a quick tutorial on automation and basically how to set everything up for those who are completely new to automation or maybe completely new to trading. Okay. All right. Basically, first things first. So you need to go to tradingview.com, make an account. Free version does work just fine, but however, if we're going to automate with alerts, you will need to have at least the essential plan, which is $14.95 per month, because you will need at least the minimum package essential plan for the alerts, because you would need the alerts in order to automate. Okay, the one I use is the premium plan, which is $59.95, and that's the plan that I do recommend. But the essential is the minimum you would need to have to make all this work. Okay, I do have the link in my description for TradingView. So all new time members or new time users for TradingView, you do get $15 off your subscription. I think that's only for your first 1 month. So take advantage of that. Again, that's only for first time subscribers. Okay. And if you're trading futures like I do, such as M&Q, you would need to also have the CME groups, which is a separated subscription on TradingView. And that does cost an additional $7 per month. And those are two separated subscriptions, so they will not be billed together unless if you subscribe at the same time or same date. Okay. And also there would be a letter D in this area, meaning delayed, which means you don't have you don't have the data purchased. So I trade futures such as MAQ, so I do need the CME data, which I do have. So that's one way you can tell, because if you're trading a different instrument that does not fall under CME, just double check to make sure there's a D there. If it is, then that means you do need to purchase that real-time data, or your price action will get delayed. So hopefully that does make sense. So it will look something like this. And the third-party platform I use is called TradersPost. So you can go to TradersPost.io. This is what I recommend. It's what I'm using. The link will be in my description for that. You do get a 7-day free trial with this version. Then after that's gonna be $49 or basically $50 per month for the starter plan, which is basically what I'm using. So you do get one live max. You do get 4 paper. This paper includes your demo account, your eval account, and your funded account, and then of course one asset. So if you do click on this, you can always upgrade your plan to the basic plan for $100, which does increase your limitations. And then you can always upgrade to the pro plan for $200, and then the premium for $300. I personally use the starter plan for $49 per month, but you can always do additional add-ons. Let's say you want to add on an extra live account to make it 2 instead of 1. That will be an extra $10 basically per month. And let's say you want to add on an extra paper to make it 5 instead of 4. It's going to be $5 additional per add-on, so that's going to be $65 per month. So that's that option you can do as well. And if you do use my coupon code Legacy2026, that coupon code will be in my description. You do get 20% off. So instead of paying $49, you'll be paying $39, and that's actually per month, I believe. There's also other third-party platforms such as CrossTrade, Pick My Trade, but I personally like TradersPost. I never had any issues with it. And basically how you make a strategy is really quite simple. So make sure you do go to strategies. Then after that, you're going to hit create new strategy. And then you can just name it whatever you want, but make sure you do be as specific as possible so you don't get confused if you're creating multiple strategies. For this example, let's do testing. Style, you keep it as default. Systematic, asset class, you can do stocks, options, futures, or crypto. I personally do futures, so I'm going to click on that. If you do trade forex, unfortunately this is not compatible with forex. Or if you're trading gold, such as XA USD, it's not compatible, and this does not support MT4 or MT5. Okay, and make sure this is checked by default. Allow auto submit. But all of this should be checked by default, so I don't do nothing there. Then the only thing you have to do is hit subscribe, then just hit subscribe again, and then you're going to connect it to an account. So for this example, let's do my TraderVate demo account. So let's select that and hit create subscription. And then make sure you do select auto submit, because when you select manual submit, what it does, it basically just sends you a notification to your phone and you have to manually approve it, which basically defeats the purpose of automation. So make sure you do select auto submit, so it will automatically submit the order. Okay, to allow sides, you want to be checking both sides, so you can take either buy or sell trades. And then after that, entry order type, you want to be selecting market order, so you could be executing at the real time or current price. And then exit order type, you want to be selecting market order there as well. And that's basically all I do. Okay, then make sure you hit enable on the bottom of the screen, and then there you go. That's basically how you make the sub strategy or subscription. Okay, and then what you want to do is you want to go to webhook and make sure you're selecting TradingView strategy. Okay, and you're going to hit copy, go back to your TradingView, go to your indicator, which is this one. You're going to click on these three dots, click add alert, then you're going to select this message tab. Okay, you're going to delete everything in this message and you're going to paste the JSON message. Okay, this is called the JSON message. I do not alter anything in this message. I leave everything by default. And then name it whatever you want, but make sure you do be as specific as possible so you don't get confused. For now, I'm just gonna name it testing, and then hit apply. You want to hit notifications. Make sure you do check webhook URL, and then go back to your TradersPost, and then make sure you do copy this one, and then you do hit paste. Okay, and I do have notify an app, check, show toaster notification, check, and play sound check, so I can be notified pretty easily. Okay, then hit apply. And FYI, once you actually select webhook and copy and paste a webhook, if you do go back, go to your message app, there should be a check mark, meaning it's valid. And then you're going to hit create, and then go back to your notifications, and now it says active. This is the one I actually created. Okay, that's how you set up automation. But I'm actually going to delete all these alerts though. And also FYI, you will get an alarm clock, a green alarm clock, meaning the alert active strategy. And now when you change something in the settings, let's say, I don't know, let's say I do 5. I change something in the settings. That alarm clock does go away, okay? Meaning you have to delete the alert like what I just did. Then you have to go back to your, add alert, click on that. You just have to copy the JSON message again, paste, then name it whatever you want, testing, hit apply, and then you just have to copy the webhook URL again. And that's how you do it. Okay, so anytime you do change something in the settings, you do have to delete the alert and recreate the alert all over again every time you change something, okay? Because if you don't, it's just going to go off the old settings. And there should be an alarm clock, okay? So basically what happens is that once let's do this example. So what's going to happen, a long trade is going to trigger, okay? it's going to hit this alert. Then it's basically going to hit this webhook URL, which is basically a TradersPost account. So TradersPost acts like the middleman. It's going to read your message. It's gonna read your JSON message, then it's going to tell your broker or prop firm on what to do next. And that's how a trade is executed automatically. And all of this is all hands-free. So I'm just gonna delete all of these alerts. So make sure you do double and triple check the settings, make sure everything is final before actually making the alert. And also, I forgot to mention, make sure you do connect to a broker first. So if you go to basically brokers, and then just go to connect broker. If you use TopStep, for example, you can either select Project X or TopStep, does not matter. So let's say you select TopStep, and let's say live account, then connect. It's just gonna ask for your username, which is basically typically your email address, basically used for TopStep, and then your API key as well. Okay, so if you select back to brokers, connect to broker. If you use TradeRVate, just select TradeRVate, select that again, connect to TradeRVate, and then it just connects automatically. Okay, so that's that, and all of your notifications will be listed here. So it should say 1 out of 1 completed, then that means your trade executed. Okay, if it said 0 of 1 rejected or 0 out of 1 failed, then it does tell you the reason why it failed and so forth. So I never really had any issues creating, TradersPost, but make sure when you first do your strategy, make sure you do connect to your brokers first. Then after you got your brokers connected, then you do the strategy, they will automatically create the subscription after that. Okay, so it's pretty much self-explanatory. The next thing I'm gonna show you is Tradecopia. You can just go to tradecopia.com. The link will be in my description. I do have a coupon code called Legacy Trading. That coupon will also be in my description. You do get basically 30% off only for your first month. So take advantage of that. And I only recommend, by the way, my coupon code only works on the monthly plans, but I would recommend at least getting the Pro Lite version, which is $79 per month. But if you use my coupon code, you do get it for $55 only for your first month, just to test it out. So take advantage of that. The reason why I recommend this one, mainly because basically Pro Lite and Pro Plus, these two run on cloud server, which means you can keep everything off and it still runs in the background. The Pro, which is for $49, this is the only one that offers a 7-day free trial, but the $49 per month, you do have to have your computer on as it is executing trades. And the connection is unlimited. You can connect to as many accounts as you want in all 3 plans, and they do have better fills compared to TradeSyncer. So Tradecopia is what I'm using to copy my trades. So you can designate one account on Tradecopia to be the leader and the other account as the followers. And then just make sure you have the leader account on Tradecopia connected to TradersPost. So whenever the leader account TradersPost executes a trade, it copies it on the rest of your accounts. This is useful if you're using platforms such as Lucid or Tradeify, basically TraderVate accounts, because they cannot be copy traded automatically. They can be copy traded manually, but you will need to have Tradecopia to actually automatically copy those trades out. So hopefully that makes sense. Other than that, let's actually dive right into my indicator. All right, so going back to my indicator called the Legacy ProEdge. This is only available on the Legacy Prime plan. The link will be in my description for that. You do get full access to my Discord community, and you also get access to myself. I'll actually help you and guide you along the way. So you do get access to my personal, trading assistant, and you do get access to a full suite of TradingView indicators, which I believe is at least 10 plus. And my latest flagship indicator, which is the Legacy ProEdge. It's basically the indicator I'm actually using to be passing my prop firm evals and getting me those payouts. So first things first, once you uploaded the chart, it will look something like this. So going back to settings, if you go to your style tab, I like to uncheck this last box, input and slash line, because I don't need this extra data. So if you uncheck that, it will make it smaller, showing the name only, okay? Next, I'm gonna uncheck these long and short signals because they're not needed, because I already have these strategy signals onto the chart and that's too redundant. But I will keep the long stop loss and short stop loss on the chart though. And that's all I change in style tab. Visibility, you leave everything as is. Properties, I usually keep this on order fill. And that's all I change in properties. Going back to import settings, I do have account mode preset, which you can select any of these presets. So such as, for example, if you select MNQ 45 seconds balance V2, V2 stands for version 2, and then 5C just means it's 5 contracts for this one, okay? So how I name this is MNQ, meaning you have to be on the MNQ chart, okay? And time frame, it tells you have to be on the 45-second time frame, and you do need the premium plan for this, okay? So if you upload that to the chart, you see everything changes. And it does not matter what you change in the settings, it's not going to do anything as long as a preset is selected. See how nothing changes? And this is version 2. Now, if you select 45 seconds and balance V3, this is version 3, which actually gives a better PNL, such as that. And this is 5 contracts. And I also made one for 3 contracts as well if you want a lower drawdown, okay? I will have a PDF document in my Discord community, so you will see exactly what was selected per preset, just in case if you want to modify the contracts yourself or change any of the settings yourself. So you will get access to a PDF file explaining the settings in each preset, so you can actually create those presets yourself, just in case if you want to customize the contracts or whatever you want, okay? Now, in order to change the settings, you have to select custom, okay? And also FYI, I will be loading more presets in the coming updates as well. These are just the starter. So for now, let's choose custom. You do have the option to obviously enable session filter. I would keep this checked by default. It's based all in EST, the New York time zone. And then you do have the option to select different days of the week. If you don't want it to trade on Monday, it does start on Sunday, Asia Urban at 1800 EST. Okay, just letting you know. Let's say if you don't want to trade on Tuesday, then it starts on Monday, 1800 EST, Asia Urban. Yes, those count as Tuesday trades. So hopefully that makes sense. And then Asia session, you do have the option to select Asia session. Again, this is 1800 EST, and you do have the if you do keep this unchecked, it will take as many trades as it wants. But let's keep that check, and you can actually limit the number of trades. So let's keep that as 2 trades in the Asia, and you do have the option to choose either longs or shorts. And the London session, let's keep that check. And we're gonna enable 2 sessions. Technically, London session does actually start at 3 o'clock AM EST, but I think the reason why it says 12 o'clock is London session actually starts at 12 AM midnight my session. So I think somehow this got, I don't know, coded into PST. But when I tried to change it to the actual, London time, it actually decreases the PNL. So I've just been keeping it as midnight instead. New York session, I usually keep that off. So I only like to trade both Asia and London sessions with New York session off. You can trade New York session if you want, but I find it taking better trades with shorts only. But that's completely up to you. But I like to keep New York session off. So I only really like to take 2 trades in Asia and 2 trades in London, but by all means, feel free to experiment with whatever you want. Then cooldown period, I like to keep this check, so 5 minutes. You can change this to whatever number you want. So as soon as it takes a trade, it exits a trade, it has to wait a minimum of 5 minutes before this next signal to generate. Then we also have this enable re-entry price zone cooldown. So with this check, I keep it as points. You do have the option to choose points, ticks, or pips, but let's choose points. Zone distance, so 20 points. So whenever it enters a trade, okay, it exits a trade for a stop loss, it has to move at least a minimum of 20 points, either up or down, before the next signal to actually generate. So you keep that unchecked. Nothing doesn't really change. Sometimes it does actually make a difference. You just have to check different settings. And then we have the market intelligent engine. We have the fast EMA line as 21 by default, slow EMA link by 50. I keep both of them by default. I think it works best. Momentum sensitivity, I keep this by default 14. And if you do not know what any of this does, you can always click on this. It tells you exactly basically what it does. And I will also have a PDF document in my Discord letting you know what each setting is meant for or what it does, and as well as to give you examples. Then bullish confidence level, it does have to be at least above 55 for a buy trade. Bearish confidence level, it does have to be below 45 for a sell trade. I would recommend keeping both of them as default. I find it works best. And then after that, I'll come back to the signal quality filters later. First things first, let's take profit settings. You have the options to choose points, ticks, money, percentage, or pips. I personally use points. Make sure this is selected on contracts. Enable TP1, let's say 25 points. And I want it to take 3 contracts off at 25 points. Then I'm going to enable TP2, and I want to take another 2 contracts off at 50 points. So that's basically 75 points total. That's 5 contracts. And for stop loss format, I have to choose points because they have to be the same. And then for this one, let's say 45 points. And then if you scroll down, it says martingale feature base quantity. Base contract quantity is 1 by default. I'm going to change that to 5. Just make sure whatever your base contract quantity is, which is 5, it has to be, the math has to add up when it comes to this. So meaning I'm taking 3 contracts off at TP1, then another 2 at TP2. That's basically 5 contracts. Or I can do like, let's say 2 and then 3, for example. So they do have to add up. So make sure if something is off, then just double check your contract sizing. And also note, this does not actually have to be checked. I would recommend keeping this unchecked by default. This does not work at the moment. It is actually completely unavailable. But your contract sizing is going to be entered here, not in properties, okay? So don't mess with this. It does not do anything on this indicator. This is where you adjust your contract sizing. It's right there. And then we have break even feature enabled, let's say 30 points, and we're going to choose 5 points for the offset. So meaning it has to move 30 points in profit. And then if it reverses, then it's going to trigger break even, and then it's going to stop you out. But since I have the 5 points for the offset, meaning it's going to stop me out 5 points above the entry price. So I'll be gaining probably $10, $15, $20 depending on delays as well as slippage. So there's still some profit. And then we also have the trailing stop loss feature, 0.6 money. You can experiment with this. So if that is enabled, it's going to start trailing after 20 points. And then the trailing distance is 10 points. So meaning if it pulls back 10 points, it's going to stop you out. But I personally don't use this feature. And then you do have the option to move stop loss to entry after TP1 hits. and move stop loss to TP1 after TP2 is hit. And you do have the option to also do take profit 3. Or you can just do all on TP1, so it's all or nothing on TP1 or a full stop loss. But that's completely up to you. And then you do have the option to enable this per day per session. So let's say do per session. So it's gonna stop you out after one winning trade. You can select from 1 up to 10. And then you do have the option to actually stop you out if you have, let's say 2 losses in a row. You can do for the day, or you can do per session. And then you do have the other risk management tips, contract cut down settings. So if you do enable this, let's say you do per day. So let's say you have 5 contracts on one trade. That's a winner. Next contract cuts you down by 1 point. So it's going to be 4 contracts. Let's say that's another winner. It's going to go down to 3 and so forth. You can also customize your TP and stop loss zones as well. And then you do have the news filter option. So if you do select this, let's say news comes out at 8:30 a.m. EST, and then it's gonna stop you out at, so basically starting from 8:25 a.m. there'll be no news until, meaning no trade from 8:25 to 8:40, and make sure you do select this so it will automatically exit the trade by 8:25. So we do have the news filter option there. And then of course we do have the TP limits for daily profit, daily stop loss, weekly profit, and weekly stop loss. And then we also have this beautiful P&L table. I personally like to show daily, weekly. Previous week, I like to keep this on check. Previous month, I like to keep that on check as well. Trade accounts, I don't really need to see that. You can also have profit factor, win rate. I'm gonna check that as well. I don't really need to see that. I just want to see just this type of information. Today's trade, this week, this month, and then what happened from Mondays to Fridays. And then going back up, gonna check this just to see if anything changes. So it does actually give me more. Oh no, actually it gives me less. I'm gonna keep that unchecked. Gonna check this to see if my P&L decreases. It actually decreases a lot. So that's how you can tell which one gives you more P&L or less. Let's try this one. So this one gives me lower P&L. Lower, let's try this. High, not bad. About this one too. Oh, this one actually gives me a lot. About this one. Oh, this one gives me more. About this. This one gives me less. So that's basically how you do. So I basically just look at the P&L and just check boxes, and if it gives me more P&L, and then uncheck if it gives me less P&L. So that's how I do it. And same, this is all checked by default. So let's say if we uncheck this, that actually gets me more. Let's say uncheck this. That doesn't really do anything about this one. So we'll keep that one check. About this, nothing really changes. So that's pretty much all the settings on the Legacy ProEdge V6 version 6. And this will be available only on the core version. There's gonna be 2. The core version will just be basically the base version, and then the regular version 6 will be basically a compilation of all the features suggested by the Discord community. So if you look at this P&L calendar, actually let's look at Friday's trades. So if you look at Friday's trades, so it basically hit a full take profit first trade. It actually took TP1, so it broke even, but this is still a winner. A full take profit, so that's actually 2 full take profit and then a partial on TP1. So giving me a 1.2k in profit for the Friday trades, all green this month. And if you see that our P&L matches the one on the P&L table, okay? So if you do go back to, let's say, July 1 to July 31 for this entire month of July, select that. This is considered deep back testing. Once you change the date, you'll see this month it got me over $8,000. Unfortunately, this one does not match what's on the P&L table. The reason why is because this P&L table does not have the capabilities of deep back testing. This is deep back testing because when you actually hit reset, you see how the deep back testing basically vanishes. And now this matches with what's on this dashboard. It's because this script does not have the capabilities of deep back testing. That's just an ability of TradingView. Obviously, there's no way for me to code deep back testing into the script. So let's see how it did last month. And also another thing, guys, I don't guarantee profit. I don't guarantee result. Trading is higher risk. So I will always recommend testing this first on a demo account before testing on an eval account or a prop firm account. Obviously, there will be losing trades and there will be losing days, even some losing weeks. And some months may do poorly compared to other months. Some months did fantastic, some months did really bad. So it's trading, market is very unpredictable, but this is profitable long term. It has passed my eval account and it's been giving me payouts consistently. So let's see how I did for last month. So last month, not really bad, about $5,000 in profit last month. Let's see, actually go all the way back to January to present. And let's see what the total P&L is. But obviously you don't, deep back testing, by the way, is only available on the premium plan. And obviously this is really optimized for the 45-second time frame, especially MNQ. I don't know how well it does on the other tickers and other time frames. So this one did 27,000, not bad. If you do actually select preset V3 with 5 contracts, update report. Let's see. Give it a second. There we go. See, Vision, this preset did really good. It did actually $33,000, and that's just for the first 6 months. If it keeps this up for the remaining of the year, then it probably would have did probably 60,000. And you have to realize that's just with 5 contracts, so it's pretty profitable. Last 7 days, 2,000, really low drawdown. The last 30 days. And I'm also working on a couple of new indicators as well. So yeah, that's that. And let me show you what my results were. 1 second. All right, I just want to show you basically my week's results. So for this week, I was actually using MNQ 45-second balance version 2, not version 3, and this was on the 5 contracts. Because version 3, I just discovered these settings this week. So this entire week was actually on the version 2. And to select the right, dates, you do actually have to start on a Sunday because that's when trading session starts in US time. So make sure you do select Sunday to whatever your present date is. But for me, since it's Friday, it's going to be for the entire week. So you do have to select Sunday to Friday, okay? Anytime you want to be checking the P&L status for the week. So I got 75% win rate this week with a profit factor 1.5, with a drawdown 1.1K, and with 1.1K. Okay, so if you look, this is actually my wife's account. So this was day number 1, 2, 3, 4, and only one losing day today. And if you see the week 1, I ended up with 1,000, basically $173 for this week, which is almost the exact same as this. This was 1,140. So basically like, I don't know, like a $33 difference. So it's pretty accurate. So that's that. And this was ran for the entire week. I did not change anything. And if you do look on this P&L calendar, it does actually reflect that. So Monday was actually 340. So I ended up getting more. I'll explain why later. Day number 2 was 340. I ended up getting less. I'll tell you why, I think. Wednesday was pretty big, 960. So on Wednesday, I got 728. But of course, there will be slippage and trading view delays. There's nothing I can do about that. That's a trading view issue. And then Thursday was almost about the same. So, and if you look on Friday, Friday was also about the same as well. If you do go to settings tab, I do actually have these brackets enabled. So if you do look at the strategy report, so a losing trade, a full stop loss is actually negative 450. So that's why I choose 450 for the risk, and a full take profit is 450 as well. So I do enable bracket sessions just in case of really bad slippage and delays. At least it does save me more from actually losing more than what I should be losing. And this has been it's been working pretty well for me. But this is actually my wife's account. I've just been testing it on an eval. She does have 2 Express Fund accounts. I'm working on her 3rd eval account as of right now. And you see I do have an 85% win rate with 30 winning trades and 5 stop loss. All this was done using the legacy ProEdge and so forth. I have a TopStep Live account, so obviously I don't even have a Express Fund account there because I do have a live account. So this is my TopStep live account as of right now. I'm actually up about $14,000 in balance. 2 more remaining trading days, I'll be requesting for another payout. Making this probably I think my 3rd or 4th payout already with my TopStep live account. Obviously, you cannot automate on the live account, so all of this was done by manual trading. But I was still using the legacy ProEdge. I've been just going off basically the first trade and second trade, just the Asian session while I'm actually still awake. So I've been taking those trades manually, and it's actually been pretty profitable. That's all I'll be talking about in this video. If you do find value in this video, please drop a like, leave a comment, subscribe. I do weekly uploads, and other than that, I'll catch you guys in the next week's video.